So what we're experiencing is a 2008 Acura MDX that has a check oil level light. Now, I don't think there's two sensors for this. I believe there's only one. And at an idle, you're going to have an oil light, and then if you get it above 2,000 RPMs, it goes away. Now, I've been driving this vehicle for approximately 1,000 miles. I haven't had too much trouble with it. I don't have any like ticking or knocking or anything like that. So we're going to go to the TSB, which is for this vehicle, which is a technical service bulletin, and we're going to do the procedure on replacing the oil pressure sensor, and I'm going to show you what the differences is between the two oil pressure sensors that they call for, the R72 and the non-R72. So we'll take a look at that. Hey, good afternoon. This is Clay with Clay's AC and Auto Repair and Clay Motion here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. If you find this video helpful, subscribe, click the notification box, and share my videos. If you want to, you can leave me nice comments and like the video. I recommend you watch the whole video in this particular situation because I'm going to give you a lot of good information on this, more so than actually showing you how to do the repair. The repair is very, very simple. You just need to understand some things before you rush out and buy yourself an oil pressure sensor. Remember, you can't break what's already broken, and if anybody else can fix it, you can fix it too. So, if you want to reach out to me, you can hit me up on Clay's AC and Auto Repair on the Facebook. I'll try to answer your questions if I can, and when I have time to do it. I appreciate you guys very much. I hope you enjoy the video and the information that I give you in it. Okay, so first off, if you're experiencing the oil light problem, this is the TSB for it. I'm going to allow you hopefully the time to screenshot this. Kind of gives you an explanation of how to actually do it and what you're doing, but I'm going to explain to you why you're doing it and what I believe has happened in the situation that's going on. So basically what I think is happening here is when the vehicle is brand new, the vehicle probably operates at 70 or 80 pounds of pressure. This switch is designed to operate as low as, say, 50, 55 pounds of pressure. The vehicle over time, which any vehicle would have lower oil pressure. Most vehicles operate on oil pressure from 20 to 50, 60, 70, 80. And optimal operating pressure for just about any vehicle is probably going to be about 40 pounds PSI. So what I think the good engineers at Honda decided to do, instead of warrantying a bunch of these vehicles that had 15, 18,000 miles on it, they decided that they would make a lower operating switch, because that's essentially what this is. Just a switch. It says either I have oil pressure or I don't have oil pressure. And I believe this switch probably operates somewhere above 20 PSI or right around there, maybe 40 PSI, whatever it is. And then they recommend that you do the technical service bulletin, and they install new software, and they install the new version of the software, and they realized this back in 2010 because that's when this TSB came out. And these vehicles weren't that old, and I would imagine they had to do a lot of major engine service, removing the oil pump and stuff like that. It could be possible that there's a gasket that goes bad in the oil pump near the switch, and it allows fluid to drip by it. I'm not 100% certain. I'm just using educated guesses here. But that's the reason that they switched this. Now, the other thing that I want to point out is the body of the new one is much larger than the old one. If you go to the parts store and you buy a oil pressure switch, aftermarket oil pressure switch, you're going to probably get what they sold to the aftermarket world. Once again, kind of giving you a little slap in the face, you're actually getting the exact same switch that you had originally that wasn't defective. It just didn't operate under the same parameters as their new switch does. I will tell you this, I installed the new switch in mine, and what like I said in the video before, I believe, it would get up to operating temperature, and then the oil light would come on and say that the oil level was low. It didn't say it was not pumping oil, because we know it was, or the motor would blow up. But it wasn't operating at their performance. So I'm not certain why they added the actual software update. Probably to change internals of the engine on other things would be my guess, because either the switch is on or the switch is off. In my scanner, it does not show a pressure reading, so I would assume that it's either on or off, and I don't think they measure the actual pressures. Why they don't do that, I don't know. But hopefully this information is helpful to understand it. So to make a long story short, we're only going to use the sensor from Honda that they call for, unless you have the non-R1, the R27 engine, and then you'll get the appropriate sensor for that. Mine's an R27 engine, so I'm using this sensor from Honda. I'm not going to use the aftermarket sensors because we want it to work. Okay, with the old sensor right here, the body's a little bit smaller. It's normal sensor socket size. This is a 24 millimeter approximately, and we're going to put that in there and see if this alleviates our problem or if we still need to have it reflashed. Okay, so once you removed your wheel, if you're going to do that, that's 22 millimeters that'll remove your wheel, or you've jacked up the vehicle. Turn the steering wheel counterclockwise, and this switch right here is your coolant temperature switch, and then the other switch is right behind it, one where I got the light flashed on is right there. Now what you're going to do to remove these, and it's going to be the same procedure for both of these coolant and your oil pressure switch. You're going to squeeze down on the clip, push it down this way, and then pull it back while you're still squeezing the clip, and that's going to allow you to remove them simply. I had some wiring issues obviously, and we're going to have to fix that later. Okay, so once you got your plugs off, I highly recommend you remove the coolant temperature sensor, and that'll make it easier for you to swing your ratchet on the oil pressure sensor. That's a 22 millimeter socket or oil pressure sensor socket, which works the best. Now I did use a oil sensor socket like this one to remove the oil pressure and the coolant temperature sensor. When you're going to install your new oil pressure sensor, it is a 24 millimeter or 1 inch, and I just used a regular old Craftsman 1/2 inch drive ratchet. I didn't really even fit it down on there. It's kind of like an oil filter. You don't have to reef it down and put it on there real hard or anything like that, so you just give it a nice little tug and secure that down there. They unscrew pretty easily. I'm sorry I already changed mine and I didn't physically show you me changing it. I think all the information takes up so much time that this will probably work out best for you. So remember, you can't break what's already broken. You can't fix it if you don't try. Subscribe to my videos, share my videos, click the notification box. If you got a question for me, hit me up on Clay's AC and Auto Repair. God bless you guys. Have a great day.